Okay, hello everybody, good noon, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear Zero Project family and friends. I would like to invite you now to come into our room and to sit down, please. And yeah, I warmly welcome you now as the chair of this session to the following panel that is called Inclusive Programs in Arts, Dance and Music for Youth.
Yes!
My name is Niels Wöpke and I'm the director of Capito Mecklenburg-Vorpommern in Office for Inclusion and Accessibility, and today I'm so proud of standing here and sitting here together with my colleagues. I am engaged with my team on Inclusive Arts project, New Ways to Arts, Museum Guidance, Always Inclusive. This is my background, and I've been checking the Zero Project Conference since some years now. I'm 51 years old, I have dark blonde short hair, and I'm wearing a brown colored checkered jacket and a white shirt with a green tie. Yeah, before we explore and experience inclusive arts education, sign language, youth choirs, and dance for disability awareness, in this transformative session, I would like to give you some general information why it is so important to develop inclusion and accessibility in the field of culture. Today, we gather to address a crucial aspect of human rights that is still too often sadly overlooked: the rights of persons with disability, particularly in the field of cultural participation. The Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, a landmark treaty adopted by the United Nations General Assembly, enshrines these rights, emphasizing the importance of inclusion, accessibility, and recognition of diverse identities. As we focus our attention on Article 30 today of this convention, which contains participation in cultural life, recreation, leisure, and sport, we are reminded of the imperative to ensure that every individual, regardless of ability, can fully engage and enjoy cultural experiences. First and foremost, let us underscore the need for individuals with disabilities to enjoy access to cultural materials in accessible formats. This means breaking down barriers to literature, art, and information by providing alternative formats such as Braille, large print, and audio descriptions. And also, of course, digital accessibility, what we recognized during the last day, yesterday, and also today. By doing so, we empower individuals to explore, to learn, and contribute to cultural discourse on an equal basis. Furthermore, we must recognize the significance of making television programs, movies, theater, productions, and other cultural activities accessible to all. This entails incorporating closed captioning, sign language interpretation, audio descriptions, and other accommodations. They ensure that individuals with disability can fully immerse themselves in the richness of cultural expression and storytelling. Equally important is the provision of accessible venues for cultural performances and services. Theaters, museums, cinemas, libraries, and other cultural services must be designed and equipped to accommodate diverse needs. This includes wheelchair access, sensory-friendly environments, and assistive technologies and approach to easy language. Additionally, efforts should be made to make monuments and sites of national cultural importance accessible wherever possible, ensuring that everyone can participate in the heritage of our cultural heritage. Lastly, let us not overlook the significance of recognizing and supporting the specific cultural and linguistic identities of persons with disabilities. This includes acknowledging the importance of sign language, deaf culture, and other unique forms of expression. By affirming the cultural diversity within the disability community, we promote a more inclusive and equitable world with zero barriers. In conclusion, the fulfillment of Article 30 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is not just a matter of legal obligation, it's a moral imperative. We must strive to create a world where every individual, regardless of ability, can fully participate and contribute to our cultural society. Let us commit ourselves to breaking down barriers, fostering inclusion, and celebrating the diversity of human experience, as the upcoming speakers now have proven. Together, we can build a future where cultural enrichment knows zero borders. The Zero Project seeks innovative forms of art and expression worldwide that allow people with disabilities to actively participate in the arts and realize their full potential. So the Zero Project today invites you to follow the inclusive art community. Please contact the Zero Project to become a part of the Zero Project inclusive arts community and contribute to a more inclusive world through the power of arts and culture, which we believe in. But now we will approach to the main content of our session, the speakers and representatives of some very valuable projects that are awarded. Each speaker and project will now have time about 8 to 10 minutes to let us dive into their projects. I'm very much honored now to introduce to you Marisa Hamamoto, founder of Infinited Flow Dance USA. She's an in-person awardee, and her solution is elementary school assemblies and Scoops of Inclusion, a professional dance company educating youth about disability inclusion in mainstream schools. Okay, it's your stage, Marisa, and yeah, now please go ahead.
Thank you, Neil, for the introduction. Could I get my slides, please? Thank you. So, hello, my name is Marisa Hamamoto. Hajimemashite, Hamamoto Marisa to moshimasu. Bilingual desu. A quick visual description of myself. I am a Japanese and Japanese-American woman with long black hair. Today I am wearing a red and purple and brown kind of swirly jumpsuit. My disabilities are non-apparent. I am a stroke survivor, I am autistic, and I have PTSD. Now, before I go on with my presentation, I do want to kind of confirm who's in the room. So let's all rise to our highest position, whatever that may be. If you want to stay seated, it's fine too. Now, if you agree with me, I want you to say yes with full body expressions. This is what my full body expression looks like. Yes! Okay? All right? Disability inclusion is important. Yes! Disabled people are awesome. Yes! Disability inclusion benefits everyone. Yes! And if we want to change the world to be more inclusive and accessible, we cannot learn disability inclusion just with our minds. We must also feel it with our hearts. Yes! All right, let's all. And it is that we want to feel disability inclusion with our hearts, and this is where the role of dance, music, arts, and creativity play a role. So, with that said, as I said, my name is Marisa Hamamoto, and during college, and I actually went to college in Japan, during college I had a stroke in my spinal cord which initially paralyzed me from the neck down. And this life-changing incident eventually led me to create Infinite Flow in 2015, which is a professional dance company that advocates for disability inclusion. We've had over 200 performances, worked with big brands such as Apple and Google and Microsoft, etc. And one of the core projects that we do are about schools. But before we go into the whole school program, this is an 80-second video of our work. Let's play the video.
A woman sits on a man in a wheelchair's lap. They move their arms in sync. A man in a wheelchair lifts one wheel off of the ground as he leans into a woman on the floor. A man in a wheelchair lays on the floor and holds the knee of a man with a prosthetic leg doing a headstand. A group of dancers, both standing and in wheelchairs, dance. The dancers in wheelchairs pop wheelies. A standing dancer hugs and rests his head on a man in a wheelchair's shoulder. A standing dancer lays down on the shoulders of a man in a wheelchair. A standing dancer dips a woman in a wheelchair. A standing dancer flips over a man in a wheelchair's shoulder. A man wearing a shirt with the words "Proud to be deaf" swings his arms back and forth. A flash mob dances in sync in front of people holding up signs that spell out #InfiniteInclusion. A woman in a wheelchair lays across a man in a wheelchair as he spins. Kids run up to the middle of a dance circle. Dancers in wheelchairs form a dance circle. A man wheels into the center and spins. Kids, both standing and in wheelchairs, dance. A girl lays across a girl in a wheelchair and stretches out her arm. A boy in a glowing room gets out of his wheelchair and walks on his hands, following a girl doing the worm. A group of dancers on a stage raise their arms. A standing dancer spins around a man in a wheelchair as he picks up one of his wheels. She holds his hand. They both hold his wheel. A logo appears, Infinite Flow Dance.
I want everyone to just take a moment to think of a time when you were a kid where you were bullied or left out and it really hurt. This is the reality of children with disabilities who are 2 to 3 times more likely to be bullied than their non-disabled peers. If we want to create a more inclusive and accessible world, educating youth about disability inclusion is a must. Now, there are growing efforts of educating children with disabilities around the globe, and I know that this is not perfect anywhere. Even in America, where I live, disability inclusive education is far from being perfect. However, globally, there is a lack of programs educating all children about disability inclusion. And I want everyone to just take a moment and think about, imagine if all the children in the world learned about the importance of disability inclusion, and really during their childhood created a positive perception of people with disabilities. What type of a future would we have? So a few years ago, my company Infinite Flow, by accident, we started performing at elementary schools through our school assembly program. And our school assembly program is about 45 minutes, and it blends dance performances, disability awareness talks, sign language choreography, and other things. So here's a short video of what our school assembly looks like. Go ahead and play the video. Imagine a world where diversity, inclusion, and equal opportunity don't have to be discussed because it's a given. Dance is a universal language, and when you're dancing with someone, you see beyond race, color, size, age, gender, ability, and disability. And when you are exposed to inclusion at an early age, it stays with you the rest of your life. Our school assemblies are 45 minutes each and are led by professional dancers with and without disabilities. This program includes performances, motivational speaking, an introduction to sign language, empowering students to become an inclusion superhero.
I learned that even if you have a disability, it can't stop you from doing what you love.
You don't have to be scared that people won't like you, because you just have to love yourself.
And fitting in isn't always the best.
We can be friends with different people because everybody's a human. It's cool to be different. It's cool to be different.
It's cool to be different.
Thank you. So So we have, over the last few years, we have taken our school assemblies to about 30 schools, serving about 15,000 children, and I would say this is just the very beginning. During the pandemic, we turned our in-person program into a 47-minute short film called Scoops of Inclusion, which you can watch online for free at scoopsofinclusion.org. And here is, let's see, clicker. Some of our survey results. So we took some surveys before and after the school assembly, and some of our survey results kind of indicate that children's perceptions of disabilities have significantly shifted from negative to positive, and these are like scanned answers from the survey. So for example, pre-assembly, a fourth grader said, when we asked the question, what are the first three words that come to mind when you think about disability? One child said, pre-assembly, sorry, bad, mad, and afterward, they said different, like me, and kind. So, and this we have seen over and over again, and this just indicates that, you know, what children are exposed to as children stays with them as adults. So we really need to start disability inclusion young, and not just any type of disability education. It needs to be fun, it needs to be creative, it needs to be engaging and interactive. So our program has been a pilot, and I'll say that, you know, this is just one program out of a few that we've done at Infinite Flow, but we know that this is our future. So we are planning to grow this, and if you want to grow with us, please do talk to me after the presentation. Here's a short video of students sharing what they learned from our online assembly program. So let's play this short video.
It's okay to be different, and different makes you unique.
People big or small, whatever skin color, can still be all together.
It doesn't matter what you look like, you can dance anyway. Doggies can have wheelchairs too.
A way that I can be more inclusive is by making sure everybody feels welcome and just genuinely being nice to people.
Something new that I did not know was the word ally. Ally means that you are friends to others and treat people the way you want to be treated.
I learned that on Scoops of Inclusion to not leave people left out, because if you do, they won't have fun. So next time I see someone left out, I go up to them and ask if they want to play with me.
Whenever I receive these testimonials, I just cry, you know, because it's like, oh my gosh, how can we get this program across to everyone? Or how can we, I don't want to say our program, how can we get disability inclusive education to all children around the world? So I am very grateful to be receiving a Zero Project Award for this. I submitted this because this was my commitment to basically say, I am going to grow this program, and not just grow it on my own, but grow it collectively as a global community. And when I say grow, this is not just growing Infinite Flow, this is growing disability inclusion educational curriculum that reaches all children. So our next steps is to create scalable curriculum, and also pass legislation to mandate disability education across K through 12 schools, or like whatever K through 12 schools mean in your country. So, and you know, it's two parts, oops, excuse me. In systemic change, when we think about systemic change for youth disability education, it's two parts. One of it is legislation. We need laws and policies that mandate this, but we don't want that curriculum to be boring, because we don't want that curriculum to further perpetuate the negative stereotypes of people with disabilities. So we also need to also create curriculum that's engaging, educational, impactful, and creative. So if what you saw today, what I presented today, inspires you in any way, shape, or form, and you would like to also expand disability education in your community, or invite Infinite Flow to perform in your city. And when we do go and perform, we do consciously try to also book school performances, youth engagement performances as well. So if you're interested in expanding that further, please do come and find me after my presentation. Thank you.
Yes, this is your applause, Marisa. Thank you for your strong and convincing voice and statements. And what I remember now is that one guy who said, student, it's cool to be different. And we had so much of summarization, what inclusion is about and what are the benefits of it. So thank you for your impressive work. Yeah, now I would like to continue in introducing Erica Colon, here to my left. She's an artistic director of the White Hands Chorus Nippon, El Semester Connect Japan, and she's also an in-person awardee and represents the following project, the White Hands Chorus Nippon. I've seen already some of your team here sitting here in the front row. Heartily welcome also to you. And yeah, this is a actually replicated model of an inclusive youth choir making music incorporating sign language. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm so happy to share with you a testimony of inclusion through the children of the White Hands Chorus Nippon. Before we start, I'd like to tell you why I founded this choir. And I will tell you how I look like. I'm a Venezuelan-born, Japanese-raised woman in my 40s. I'm wearing a silver and black suit. I have a brown short hair and sitting in the right end. So, I was born into a family of musicians, and I am a professionally trained soprano singer. Music has always been a tool to connect people in a most natural way. It all began with an encounter with one deaf boy. 20 years ago, during my university training, I was sent to a school for deaf children, only for a day. After a short introduction, a curious boy asked me, "What do you like to do the most?" Without thinking the consequences of it, I declared my love for singing. His response, "Then show it to me." Those are the questions that children really test, challenges you. For the first time in my life, I questioned, is music only for people who can hear it? What do you think? I knew nothing about what was to come, but I just sang into their eyes. And as I began, I noticed them leaning towards me, trying to listen to the song with their eyes, with their bodies, and with their presence. After 2 decades of exploration, I discovered the immense joy of sharing music with my deaf friends. It not only expanded the artistic dimension of music by visualizing the lyrics with the language, sign language, but it also became our school of inclusion. We have members who are visually impaired, wheelchair users, those with autism, rare disease, and those without disabilities. It is an inclusive choir where we build the future together. Why do we need a program like ours? A survey conducted by the Dialogue Diversity Museum in Japan revealed that more than half of high school students in Japan have never interacted with people with disabilities. Our program, offering opportunities to learn together, learn from each other, have transformed children, families, and communities. Our focus is on children, mainly from 6 to 18 years old. We provide weekly workshops under the support of the Tokyo Metropolitan Theater, local governments in Okinawa, temples in Kyoto, and private organizations. We have continued our program even during the pandemic using online system. And that experience allowed us to create an online community, and we started a monthly online conference with children and families to discuss how we could make actions to realize a world without zero barriers. And we always set goals on our public performances with our professional artists. The children are the center of our community. They work with professional artists, actors, musicians, and a photographer. And we are supported by volunteers and donors. So let's see how we sing together. The white gloves are our instruments that unites with voices and visualize the meaning of the song. We are complete because we have each other. So everyone participates in translating the lyrics into sign language. It is a creative collaboration process between deaf members and others who can hear. At times we engage in active discussions for months to translate even one word. We all contribute to this process regardless of age, gender, or backgrounds. Through this process, we deepen each other's understanding and make the expression our own. The second is the community building. Our online lessons allow us to connect from different places, cities, or sometimes from hospitals. Children, artists, parents, and supporters interact with each other. And at third level, we have performances. Thank you. So our practices have transformative effects on multiple levels. Individual children learn not only about music skills or the vocabulary in sign language, but also about challenging the prejudice in society. As children transform, entire families undergo a change, embracing the true potential of each child. Through our public performances, we strive to bring joy and break barriers in our minds and perception. Like an orchestra, our society is formed with people with different abilities. I believe there's nothing more powerful than the genuine words of children, so allow me to share 2 comments from our members. We may see differently, we may hear differently, we may use our bodies differently, but we are all connected at heart. That's Sarah, 7 years old. Another one, we might not know each other, but if we do, we can be friends. Let's play together, let's sing together. That's a comment from Hikari, 10 years old. And we are very excited to announce that 107 members and staff are here all the way from Japan to attend ZeroCon this year. And we will have a special performance of Beethoven Symphony No. 9, highlighting the message of the symphony, Alle Menschen werden Brüder. All people are brothers and sisters. We are also presenting a collaborative work with a fantastic photographer, Mariko Tagashira, who captured music through photography. It is an inclusive photo exhibition at Westlicht Museum in Vienna, and it's free of charge. I will leave the brochure at the reception, so please take it, and I hope you can come and see us and listen to us. As Beethoven said, the aim of art lays in acquiring freedom and social development. We continue breaking barriers through creation, education, and collaboration, because we all know one child, one encounter can change the world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Erica, for your inspiring and touching statement, and also what you have shown in the videos, the large impact that arts can have, and music especially here in this example, for society and freedom. And yeah, we might see each other tomorrow again, from what I understood, and you're all invited, from what I understood, to come.
They will perform.
Okay, yeah, a hint here to the side here. Yeah, so good to have you here, and also tomorrow. Yeah, our next speaker that I now would like to introduce to you is Carla Mauch. She's founder and general coordinator of Mais Diferenças. You could probably pronounce it better, in Brazil, and she's also an in-person awardee, and gives us information on the following project that is called Inclusive Education Laboratory, a training course for teachers on how to use the arts to make their education practices inclusive. And again, it's your stage now, Carla. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank and congratulate the ESSO Foundation for this event. Please excuse me my English. I will do the best I can. My name is Carla Mauch. I am a white woman, and I have long gray hair, and I'm wearing a coat red. My sign in Brazilian Sign Language is this. I am the coordinator of Mais Diferenças and a teacher. I have worked with people with disabilities for 25 years, developing inclusive education and cultural projects. In 2005, I was one of the founders of Mais Diferenças, a Brazilian NGO based in São Paulo that works with public authorities and the civil society to ensure the implementation of inclusive public policies. Our work is based on investigating, creating, producing, and sharing experience and knowledge about inclusive education and culture. We focus on accessibility and universal design to promote the right of people with disabilities to autonomy and equal opportunities. Our team is plural, and for us, it is a main condition to work with disabled people and not for disabled people, combining equality and differences. The Inclusive Education Laboratory is a 20-hour course for public school teachers in the city of São Paulo, which has been offered for 5 years. The choice of the name laboratory expresses much of the meaning of this training. It is a workplace that values its experiential and creative dimension. This training offers space and time for educators to enjoy accessible cultural programs in different places in the city of São Paulo. At the lab, we create conditions for the teachers to have moments that combine leisure, reflection, study, inspiration, and creativity, which also contribute to development of inclusive pedagogical practices. Through the project, 233 public schools in the city of São Paulo benefited and 299 teachers participated in the course. Furthermore, the lab develops accessible and inclusive pedagogical practices together with teachers who took the course in their schools, involving principals, teachers, students, and families. Up to now, this intensive action has taken place in 25 schools. The majority of the teachers are women who live in the whereabouts of São Paulo and who have also experienced situations of exclusion in relation to access to culture. More than 90% of participants rate the lab as an excellent course. The lab is part of the training offer of the São Paulo Inclusive Education Policy and is developed through various partnerships such as Mais Esperanças Association, Volkswagen Group Foundation, São Paulo City Department of Education, cultural spaces, schools, and teachers. One of the great challenges of inclusive education is teacher training. This challenge doesn't only concern the training offered, but the quality and concepts on which they are based. Training often has an emphasis on the medical model, which seeks to correct and normalize students from a homogenizing perspective, which is not inclusive education for us. We believe that it's necessary to invest in teacher training from a pedagogical perspective, which involving different ways of teaching and learning, such as studying, planning, creating, experimenting, registering, and sharing accessible, inclusive, and diverse pedagogical practices. So, we believe that education, art, and culture are fundamental, articulated, and complementary rights which enable the expansion of repertoires, the production of meanings for the all school community. Accessibility research, in turn, are inclusive pedagogical strategies for all students, with and without disability. I will now present a short video with the report of teachers who participated in the lab. Please, the video.
Mais mexeu comigo até agora nos encontros para o curso foi a movimentação no aprendizado real, visita de espaços, o reconhecimento de uma cidade mais acessível diante da vontade de acessar a cultura, a arte, o conhecimento.
Esse é o nosso terceiro encontro pelo laboratório e estão sendo encontros riquíssimos, onde nos trazem várias possibilidades para trabalhar com as crianças dentro da sala de aula. E uma visita que me marcou muito foi no Museu da Cultura Indígena, onde lá nós podemos ver a importância do tempo da criança, do tempo de brincar, do tempo de aprender. E o que me chamou muita atenção também foi a forma de fazer brinquedos, a forma do brincar, onde eles utilizavam material próprio deles, né? Fizeram petecas com milho, né? Com a espiga de milho. Isso me chamou bastante atenção. Levei isso para dentro da escola com as crianças, né? Não só na minha sala, eu também levei para o PEA, onde as outras professoras aproveitaram a ideia também. Né? E eu sei que assim, todos os encontros estão sendo ricos, nos trazem possibilidades e é só agregar cada vez mais para dentro da sala e além da sala também.
To conclude this presentation, I want to share a quote from Ailton Krenak, activist and first indigenous writer to be elected in 2023 to the Brazilian Academy of Letters. He inspires us and calls us to invent a world for everyone. Neil, could you please read for us?
Yes, I sure will. Okay, the quote is like this. We are definitely not the same, and it's wonderful to know that each one of us here is different from the other, like constellations. The fact that we can share the space, that we are together on this journey, does not mean that we are equal. It means exactly that we are capable of attracting each other by our differences, which should guide our life journey. Having diversity, not this idea of humanity with the same protocol, because so far it has only been a way to homogenize and take away our joy of being together. Ailton Krenak, Brazilian writer and indigenous activist.
Thank you. Thank you for time and attention.
Yeah, thank you, Carla. Also the applause for you and your key solution approach on the train-the-trainer concept and the large impact on that. Okay, at the end of our session now, I'm glad to invite two more speakers now to go ahead. And I'm delighted to introduce to you them and their project. This is Claudia Werneck, founder of Escola de Gente, Brazil, in-person former awardee in 2022, 2019, and 2014. And also Natalia Simonet, photographer of Escola de Gente, Brazil. You're welcome. Go ahead, please.
I speak first out of the microphone in order people who are blind can know where I am. I am a woman with white skin and white hair as well, so I am an old woman. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here once again. The Zero Project Conference is the most relevant international event on accessibility and inclusion, and it's I'm honored to be here again, and I wish long life for this new inclusive arts network. In 2002, as a Brazilian journalist, I founded an NGO college, School of People, Communication in Inclusion. Its mission is to transform public inclusive policies into everyday inclusive practices with a focus on the population with disabilities living in poverty. And in Brazil, it means a population mainly of Black people. But what has the School of People done since its foundation? One, we have received over 100 national and international acknowledgements. We became the most awarded Latin America NGO by the Zero Project with 5 awards. Recently, the School of People was appointed by the Minister of Culture to join a commission which, together with the government, is responsible for managing the most important mechanism of cultural promotion in Brazil. Our Accessible Vem Cá app, which means Coming to Accessible Culture, has just been included in the most important federal government program for people with disabilities. And we have mobilized more than 1 million people to the cause of inclusion and accessibility in 19 countries, in 5 continents, and throughout Brazil. Without accessibility, art doesn't exist. It was this very thought that brought me to the Zero Project Conference when, in 2014, we were awarded by this event with our Accessible Theatre, which gave rise by law to the National Accessible Theatre Day in Brazil. We follow a principle. It is during the communication process that the most severe forms of discrimination happen, which means that not offering communication or accessibility is also a form of social, economic, and political control. When cultural activities do not offer a broad and diverse range of communicational accessibility, they become ableist as they disqualify the specific communication needs of people with disabilities. It is why our whole team is dedicated to create innovative, useful, and free projects so that people with disabilities have their cultural rights guaranteed. Now, Natalia Simonet, our cultural projects coordinator, will explain a bit more about what we are doing now. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, good afternoon. Guten Tag, it's correct? And boa tarde to my Brazilian colleagues. As Claudia said, I'm Natalia. I have brown skin, black hair, and I'm wearing a white sweater. Well, and I want to introduce to you our most two recent projects in the cultural area. The first one is our theater festival, accessible, of course, theater festival called ETA. Well, in Brazil, the majority of people with disabilities lived in poorest region with poor internet connection. So during the pandemic, they also faced a lack of accessibility in communications in relation to the COVID. So during the pandemic in 2020, a School of People created a platform called Inclusive Hyperconnection that offers simultaneously 4 different types of accessibility: sign language, easy language, closed caption, and audio description. This platform enabled us to create in 2021 the first completely accessible and online theater play of the Brazilian internet. And going any further, we produced last year in 2023 the first completely online and accessible theater festival of Brazil. Well, those are some impacts of our festival, and I would like to highlight our public call for participation with 14 accessible formats and our ebook with the best plays of the festival with 7 different accessible formats. And our next steps is we will produce this festival inside in the Amazon region this semester. Well, our second project is the app Vem Cá, as Claudia mentioned, which means something like come to the accessible culture. Well, although we have many events and cultural projects in Brazil with accessibility, people with disabilities are still not able to participate in them because they don't know where and when these activities are happening. So, because the information are spread. So, in 2019, a School of People created this app to connect, events or cultural projects with at least one form of accessibility or affordability to audiences with disabilities. This first fully accessible app of Brazil was launched in a TV campaign with a partnership with a big TV channel in Brazil and reached an audience of 12 million people. Well, those are some impacts of our app, and I would like to highlight 6 awards, including, of course, Zero Project Award in 2021, and 400 Best Practices in the World awarded by the UN. And those are other 2 remarkable moments of our app. This distinguished gentleman holding the app is Michael Fernberg, CEO of Zero Project, when it was awarded here in 2021. And this young girl holding the app and showing the app and smiling to the camera is a teenager Brazilian called Isabella. She is a blind person, and she told us that her life improved a lot after using Venka, because now she knows where and when events with audio description are happening. But of course, we have a lot of challenges, and in a country as unequal as Brazil, we think free access is a thing that we advocate in all our projects. It's very important, especially accessible projects, to be free for the public. So we are an independent organization. We don't have regular sponsors. So that's why we always are in searching of partnerships and investments to keep Venka app and our other projects constantly involved and especially serving people with disabilities. And well, we have this bottom, without accessibility, art doesn't exist. This is free. And our team is distributing this. So please take one, and thank you so much for your attention, and please ask us about our projects, and thank you to the other participants. These projects are amazing. Thank you, Nils.
Thank you, Claudia and Natalia, and you already mentioned now it's time to raise questions. We just have a few minutes left, but thank you overall for your project demonstration, which is, I think, the whole process chain from the information making it accessible to an accessible play in several methods. So thank you for that. Yeah, now come to you here, please, in the audience. Are there any questions that you would like to ask? Of course, my colleagues will be here right after it, but here's one, yeah, in the middle. Yeah, please go ahead.
I just enjoyed listening about the app. It's well done, 12 million people connecting with disability is just fantastic. My question is that I live in MENA region, we cover MENA region, with many countries that individually or as a region whole, they are separated, they are not connected, they don't have government which support disability. Is this app something that you consider we can discover in this region? Is it compatible to change the language and feed the data?
Yes, our director, the person that keeps care and do everything about the app is here. Gabriel Ligabue can explain more, but it is able to be reproduced in any language. Okay, thank you for your question.
Yes, a significant question in order to transfer this app in other regions and countries and languages. Yeah. Is there any other question here in the audience? Yeah. Yeah, in the back here, I see, yeah.
Hi, I have one question about Venka apps, the one of Culture in Brazilian. How are you thinking in maintain the update, the events that appear in the app?
Yeah, the question goes to the updates with the current information about the next dates and exhibitions in place. How is it updated?
Okay, we have a person in our team that focuses just to updating the app with events or projects that have at least one form of accessibility. So that is her job. She's focused on this, and this is one of the investment we do, paying this person just to looking for this event. So the app is constantly updated with events. Of course, in Brazil, but we want to expanding, first of all, to the other Portuguese-speaking nations. But there is a person in our group focusing on that.
Okay, this is the clear answer to this question. Yeah, we might just have time for one more short question, if there is one, because we are running out of time shortly. But I see there's no question right now. And yeah, I would like to thank you here in the audience, here in Vienna, and actually also on the technical devices outside for sharing your time with us. And I know my colleagues will be very open to get in dialogue with you right after it and all day long. At the end of this session, I would like to quote Connie Vanderakis. She's our Zero Project ambassador, one of it. And she says, to make this vision a reality, we advocate for the creation of job profiles, a legal framework, and dedicated resources to fully integrate people with disability into the arts and culture sector. And with these words, and once more in warm applause for my colleagues, I would like to wish you now further good going on of this conference day. Bye-bye.
Can we take a photo with all of you here? Can you take very short, very quickly? We have a